Oh, sorry, you guys don't have any interest in this, I'm sure. I'll get these out of the way. So I figure I'd give a little tour of my tool bag. I call it a tool bag. Could call it a tool carrier, a tool pouch. This is just how I perform maintenance around my house, our business, our rental property. This bag covers most things that I would need to do. With some exceptions. There's a bunch of things missing. I'll go over that at the end. So I figure right now we could just look at what there is in here. I guess we could start, we'll start here. Why not? Safety glasses. I bought a whole bunch of these on Amazon.com. They're 3M. I got them after I got LASIK done on my eyes. LASIK eye surgery. So that was $5,000 well spent. I don't need glasses. But I do need these to protect my eyes. I do not have ear protection. Nothing in here should be making that loud of a noise, with the exception of maybe the hammer and the crowbar in conjunction. But I would approach that as needed with proper hearing protection. Next up, we have a circuit tester. This is also somewhat of a safety thing. It'll tell you if a circuit is hot or not. Next, we have a flashlight. This is, in this case, an LED Lenser T7, and it's adjustable focus, which is really great for seeing far away or close up. I'll just put that back in there. Next, we get on to screwdrivers. I have full-size screwdrivers that are Phillips and flathead. Those are typically the only two that I really carry. If I need more, I have, where is it? Here it is. I have a whole bunch of different screws, and I'll throw this in separately as needed. But usually this goes with the drill and the impact driver. So that's a separate kit altogether. So I have 3 different sizes of screwdrivers here on the side: big, medium, small. And then over here I have other screwdrivers. I have 2 different styles and then some assorted small ones. So you guys can see those over there. 2 different styles. Let's get these out too. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence about these. I have this Cobalt mini screwdriver set, and it has a whole bunch of different bit sizes. But the unfortunate thing about this is it's a unstandard small size of hex, so I can't really use these with anything else. Not that I really want to. So this offers a lot of variability, but in the 3 or 4 years that I've had this tool bag together, I haven't used these maybe once. But I have used this, which is a really cool screwdriver. I don't know where I found this. It was a gift. You just clock this around to the right one that you want. You pull this down and it hides away in here. Spin around the end to whichever you want, like a Phillips 0. And then it, pulls right out. And then I also have, I guess these are a little bit redundant too. I have other small screwdrivers in here. And I guess really nice with this Cobalt, I also have an extension. So I might just, I don't know what I'm doing with those yet. I'll just put them all back in. The jury is still out on these as to which one that I'm gonna keep. I probably don't need a lot of these other smaller screwdrivers too. So that's it for this side, and then this corner. You can go around to here. I have, let's get these out of the way. This is like my sharp edge. So I have like a screwy edge. This is somewhat safety here. I guess I should put these back. And this is pretty much where these have lived for a large portion of this tool bag's life. So the sharp side, I guess we'll empty out the middle one here first so you can see it. I have 2 utility knives, a 99E, which is good all around sturdy knife, and then if I'm cutting things like drywall, I'll have this. And well, you see the blade's a little bit rusty there, but that's okay because I have spare blades in my tool bag. Other things in this middle pouch here, we have I don't want to say the word that I use for this chisel. Let's just say it's an illegitimate child chisel. So I use that for all sorts of things. I have a scraper, so I just undo the screw and then I can flip this scraper around. I have these. The only reason I really have these is the crimp function here. My other pliers do not have the proper crimp function. And then I have 2 putty knives. One is a really stiff putty knife, and then the other one's a really flimsy putty knife. So sometimes you need a stiff one, sometimes you need a really flimsy one. Also in here I have this pick. Let me get it closer to you so you can see. It's got a little curlicue on the end. This is great for a lot of things, especially pulling out seals, O-rings, that sort of thing, or picking anything that needs cleaned out. It's a great pick for that too. So that's in there. Other things on this end, we have a standard cheapo knife. What is this? Appalachian Trail stainless. Just general purpose, whatever I use it for, or whatever I need it for. I also have zip ties. My zip tie stock here is a little bit low. I have these standard zip ties. They're about 8 or 9 inches long, black. These seem to work for most things that I would need them for. If I need a longer one, then I just double them up. If I need a shorter one, well, too bad, I just cut off a long tail and it's gone to waste. Other things here, I have these edge cutters. I guess a good reason to make this video is because these edge cutters are not going to be the edge cutters that go in my bag anymore. Thank you to whoever bought me these. It may have been on the packing slip, but I don't get the packing slip sometimes. Oh, this is coming off. Because things come to our business and our employees unpack things and things just end up on my desk and I don't know who it's from. So thank you to whoever bought this set of pliers, or not pliers, side cutters. They're not really side cutters because it's not really a side-on thing. They're just nippers in general. So those will go in there. Don't really fit. Those will go in there. I guess these should go back over here. Also on this side I have a set of Klein Electricians multi-tool things. These are great for stripping 14 gauge and 12 gauge electrical wire, and if you're creative you can use this for a lot of different gauges of wire actually. And you can also use the threaded bits here to cut off screws if they're too long. And then the end here is really great for doing a loop in the end of wire to put it around a screw. And those pretty much just live there. Then I have some non-marring tiny needle nose, a little bit larger needle nose. These are general purpose ones that I use like all the time. And then just around the corner in the same category is some long nose needle nose pliers. These are actually snap-ons that I got at an auction. I think this and a box of other tools was like 12 bucks. So I got some body hammers and some other pliers. I think some of the channel lock pliers that I have in here are from that too. So that's that end. On this edge, it's pretty simple. I just have would be a good PG word for nut. I'll just say it. Nut. These are a special set of adjustable wrenches. You can see that they are both metric and standard. So these will do both metric and standard nuts and mess them up really good. But sometimes you need not just one, but two. So yes, I do carry around two of these 12-inch Crescent wrenches. Neither of them are actually made by Crescent. Come on. And then this I got a long time ago. It's just an adjustable nut wrench. It's great for using sort of like a box end wrench, but not really. And then a smaller Crescent wrench as well. I guess also up here you can see I have 3 different types of tape. This generally does most things that I need to. I have painter's tape, electrical tape, and plumbing tape. This gray plumbing tape is a little bit thicker. You don't need to put as many wraps on. It's a lot more reliable than the thinner blue roll or red roll. And then I also have a 25-foot tape measure, and it's just clipped on here. The tape is attached with a piece of wire and one of these Wago clips, so I can take off the tape as needed, and then I just put it back on there. Finishing up this side, we have Allen keys. I don't have any Torx keys. I hardly ever need them. If I need them, I have Torx keys over on the other wall. I know I'm missing one of these here. I can't find it. Then I also have a deburring tool for pipe. This is extremely useful. And then here I have some marking tools. Usually I would have a few more, but I need to restock. Just a standard pen, mechanical pencil, and a Sharpie. Notice none of these have a cap that can be lost. One final marking instrument, I have a crayon. If I ever really need it, it's here. It's lightweight, so it's not that bad to carry around. Next up in this corner here, I have a whole bunch of punches. These 3 are nail sets, small, medium, large. And then these are other punches. This is a center punch, and this is like a chisel tip that's messed up. I need to regrind that. And then here we have, I think I'm gonna get rid of this from my tool bag, but it's a set for a staple. So I never use that, so I'm gonna get it out of here too. It's just weight that I don't need. Sometimes things move around, like I pulled this out of here and I realized that these are empty, so I'll just put it there. And then moving on into the center here, I have a whole bunch of other interesting things. I'll move it a little bit closer so you can see. First, I mentioned a hammer. This is just a cheapo hammer with a plastic handle that I got for 50 cents at a yard sale. Works great. And then this is a Wonder Bar, Super Bar in this case. Wonder Bar is a brand name for, you know, pulling and prying. Then I have one F-clamp. Usually I would carry 2, but they're heavy, so sometimes I just try to stick with 1, and if I need clamps, I'll just come get more. You can never have enough clamps. I have in here a 12-inch extension for screw bits. So that's a 1/4-inch hex. And I have to carry this in here because usually it's an invaluable tool that I have to have around, and it doesn't fit in here. So it just lives in my tool bag. Then we'll go through some of these wrenches here. I realize that this maybe should be on the sharp edge over here, and in fact I'll do that. Those are my true flush cut pliers. Then I have some small general purpose pliers, 2 sets of tiny channel locks. I don't know if I really need 2, but they're not that heavy, so I keep them in here. 2 big channel locks, one's a little bit larger than the other. Usually these will get me by for anything that I need to do that would be channel locked. And then a set of electrical dikes. And then these are cable cutters. You know, I haven't used these in a while. Usually they're only for the very large cables, so it's like a specialty thing that I would be doing. And I know that I would need this if I'm doing that sort of stuff, so I would grab it beforehand. So for now, this is going to go out of my tool bag. Also in here, I have some straight tin snips. Great general purpose thing to have. Hardly ever cut tin with them. Then we get on to some of the measuring stuff. I have a 12-inch general purpose square. I forget exactly what these are called. Use it for lots of different things. A speed square. I commonly carry this around in my tool bag specifically because I use it with my cordless saw if I'm out and about, so I don't want to leave that behind. I use it to primarily get square cuts on 2x material, or it's great for layout too. And then I also have one of these Johnson levels. This is magnetic V on one side, flat on the other. It also has, you can see there, a slope indicator for pipes. So if you're doing drainage. And then it also has, 45. And there are 2 level and plumb bubbles. I also have this too. I've used this like maybe once or twice, but I could envision this being invaluable in certain instances, and it's not very heavy, so it stays in here too. A lot of times I will be installing stuff that needs to be weather protected if it's outside, so I just carry a small tube of this around in my bag as well. In the middle here, I use these the way they are. I haven't found a more suitable way of transporting these reliably and easy access, so I just do this for now, and it works. So these, in conjunction with my other wrenches, will do most things that I need to do. And then down in the bottom, you might be able to see, you can't see anything, there's some other stuff. And it's usually stuff that I don't need, but I know it's there, and when I need it, I can dig for it to make sure that I have everything out. Alright, this is it. I have an electrical tester. It doesn't really fit in the edge of the bag anywhere, so it just resides in the bottom. These are razor blades for my scraper. So if I ever need a replacement razor blade, it's in here too. Again, this wouldn't really fit conveniently in the edge pockets anywhere. Oh, okay, you're in all the way. And then a lighter. Oop. Great if you're like melting the ends of rope or lines, or say you need to melt the insulation off of a piece of wire and then pull it off. This works too. Or just starting fires or heat shrink, lots of different purposes. Now these edge pieces here are really floppy. What I've done previously, and I should do it again, is I would cut a stick that's as tall as these are down to the bottom, and then I would zip tie the stick to the sides, and that would hold up the sides of the handles here. But I haven't really needed to do that, so this is the way it is. A few more points that I'd like to make. You can see that I am spinning it around on this Lazy Susan, and that's because this is how it resides on my workbench. As opposed to hanging things on pegboard like that, I will have all of my tools here, and if I need my tools, well, I just grab the bag and go. This is very close to a first order retrievability tool bag toolbox. And I say very close, it's like 1.25 or 1.5 order, if you could say that. Because if I need something, and it's over here on my workbench, and say instead of my wrenches, I need my flashlight, I just have to spin it and it's right here. Or say I'm at my screwdrivers here and I need my wrench, well, I know it's right here. So I could just give the old reach around and I know where it is, and I know where I can put it back immediately without having to even look on the other side in most cases. A few things that I also put in here, and these will switch out occasionally, but usually right around in here, is I have a multimeter. This is a clamp multimeter that does AC voltage, DC voltage, ohms, and amps in AC. And then that works for the coil too. I do wish that it had DC current sensing. That would be another model up and was a little bit more expensive. I wish I had sprung for the extra capabilities. Also, sometimes in my tool bag here, I will have this. Which is a thermal camera. You can see there the lights on my workbench. Or my softbox light there. So this is fantastic for seeing air leaks and water leaks primarily, or any place where you're lacking insulation. This is fantastic for finding those spots too. It is also another flashlight. The last thing I will frequently have in here is my 6-inch set of digital calipers. And these are calipers that I got, I don't even really remember. I think it was a yard sale. Or maybe on Craigslist some guy was selling some of his father's tools, and this is one of them. So this is fantastic for most things. The battery lasts a really long time. It's pretty efficient. It's very accurate. So I love having this in my tool bag as well. Things I don't have in my tool bag. I do not have any, oh, it keeps falling off, it's a little bit annoying. I do not have any screws or bolts or nails or wire or anything like that, well, except for this little bit of wire here. That's because typically if I need those things, then I will have grabbed my large assortment of screws anyways. The only other thing that I'm missing from this bag, and I can't find it, is I have a little headlamp that I usually have in the bag with spare batteries. And I don't know where it is, which is making me a little bit mad. I might have to pick up a replacement. I love having a headlamp if you're like under a cabinet or whatever, just to see what you're doing. And in cases where the flashlight just isn't sufficient. Another reason I like having this form factor of bag that's square and tall rather than long and narrow is this fits in my truck better. It doesn't take up as much, seat space. I have a limited amount of space in my truck that I can fit other tools in, and sometimes I just need that space. So having a smaller footprint square bag helps in that regard. So things that I would change about this, if I could, is having some better way of putting these wrenches in. Because right now they're basically just straddling one of the dividers in the bag. And it works okay, but I really wish there was some more strapping like this, and that the strapping was a little bit higher up. That way stuff wouldn't hit the ground around the tool bag, which is a little bit annoying. So maybe if instead of this extra instead of having such a large bay, maybe if this tool bag had a 2-tier side like this, that would allow me to put more tools with handles. Well, I suppose every tool in here has a handle of some sort, but more tools with handles on the outside. If you like this video, you know what to do. Also, click on that subscribe button, and there are many ways that you can support me otherwise, like writing a comment saying, good job, or going on Amazon. I have a wish list. You can buy me things. You can buy yourself things. Not from that wish list. Well, you could, but there's a separate shopping list of things that I've approved that you could get for yourself. You can also support me on Patreon. There's a whole bunch of people who do that currently, and I really appreciate the support that they give me. And thanks to them, I was able to make a new purchase. This is a little bit of a teaser related to that purchase. Thanks, guys. And the last way that I can think of you guys supporting me is to share this video. That'll help it get seen. I think it's a valuable, informative video that somebody putting together a tool bag similar to this one would find extremely helpful. And with that, signing out. See you guys around.